Ever wondered about the giants among dogs in the animal kingdom? While the term big cats brings to mind lions, tigers, and leopards, the big dogs are often overlooked. Today, it seems as though these formidable canines have vanished from the earth. Unlike big cats, which have been apex predators across the globe for millions of years, the story of large canines is less known. Yet, there once lived a giant among them, the dire wolf, dominating the landscapes of ancient America with its sheer size and predatory prowess. Long ago, people across the United States stumbled upon the bones of a huge, extinct animal that seemed a lot like the wolves we know today. These discoveries date back to the 1850s, but back then, no one realized that all these bones came from the same kind of creature. When experts who study old bones, called paleontologists, took a closer look, they thought these bones belonged to a group known as Canis, which includes wolves, dogs, coyotes, and even the golden jackal. That's why they initially called this big, old wolf Canis dirus, which means terrible wolf. And that's how the nickname dire wolf came to be. But here's a twist. This big old wolf wasn't actually a wolf. This surprising fact only came to light in 2021 through DNA tests. These tests showed that dire wolves and the wolves we know today aren't close relatives at all. They split from a common ancestor over 5.7 million years ago. Because of this, scientists decided to give the dire wolf a new name, Inocian dirus. And guess what? It turns out that the closest living relative to the dire wolf is not the gray wolf, but the African jackal. Even so, the dire wolf looked a lot like the gray wolf. They were about the same height and size, which made scientists think they were related. However, this similarity wasn't because they were closely related, but because of something called convergent evolution. This happens when different creatures evolve to look similar because they live in similar environments and face similar challenges, even though they aren't closely related at all. Now, even though the dire wolf and the gray wolf had a lot in common, the dire wolf had some unique traits that made it stand out and even more fearsome. For one, it was huge. Scientists think a grown-up dire wolf weighed between 132 and 150 pounds, about as much as the largest gray wolves today, and some might have been even bigger. They say the biggest dire wolves could have weighed as much as 243 pounds, although that's pretty much the limit. Their bones couldn't support much more weight without problems. But even at these sizes, the dire wolf was one of the largest members of the dog family ever. If it were classified as a true wolf, it would have been the biggest wolf species ever known. So, did you know not all dire wolves were the same size? Actually, there were two types, or subspecies, each living in different places and each a bit different in size. These were called Inocian dirus gildei and Inocian dirus dirus. The first type lived from California all the way down to Mexico, and the second type was found in areas east of the Great Divide, which is a line of high ground that runs through North America. Among these two, A.D. dirus was the bigger one, about 10 to 15% larger than its cousin. Now, this bigger subspecies not only had a heftier build, but also had longer legs proportionally. Scientists think these long legs made it better at running fast. But why were these two subspecies different in size and build? Well, scientists aren't totally sure, but they think it had something to do with the different environments each lived in and the kinds of animals they hunted for food. There's also a theory that these size differences came about because the bigger subspecies, A.D. dirus, was actually younger. Over time, as conditions in America changed, dire wolves might have evolved to become larger. This wasn't great news for other animals around, because even the smaller subspecies was a serious predator. Both types of dire wolves had a super special way of biting, which paleontologists, those are scientists who study ancient life, believe was the most advanced of any wolf-like animal. Thanks to their big skulls, which supported strong muscles on the sides of their heads, dire wolves could bite down really hard. In fact, when you compare their size to other animals, dire wolves could bite harder than any other land mammal. They could even bite over twice as hard as the smilodon, a saber-toothed cat that sometimes weighed 4 times more than a dire wolf. But there's more to their scary bite. Dire wolves had teeth that were perfect for cutting through meat, and their canine teeth were super flexible, more than any other dog's teeth. This flexibility didn't just mean they could bite hard. It also meant they could hang on to their struggling prey better. And if you think facing one dire wolf was bad, Imagine facing a whole pack. Yes, dire wolves likely lived and hunted together in packs, which meant their prey often faced not just one, but many terrifying bites at once. Long ago, across the Americas, numerous dire wolves were often found dead together in the same places. This fact leads many to believe these ancient wolves were social animals that lived and moved in packs. One of the most famous sites with evidence of this is the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. This spot was a natural trap that ensnared many predators, including lots of dire wolves, ages ago. The tar preserved their bones so well that today, scientists can still study them. The large number of dire wolf skeletons found here strongly suggests that they hung out in groups, much like wolves do today. Dire wolves likely lived in packs of about 12 to 30 wolves and were excellent at hunting large prehistoric animals across ancient America. They ate camels, bison, horses, and even massive creatures like mammoths, though these larger animals weren't their main prey. Hunting was tough and often left them with broken teeth, indicating fierce battles with their prey. Dire wolves weren't picky, eating various animals and occasionally berries and fruits to supplement their meat-heavy diet. These wolves lived in tight-knit packs, often led by a lifelong alpha pair, and their family groups included offspring from different years. They thrived in diverse North American environments, from open plains to mountains, and fossils suggest they may have reached as far as China. Despite this, dire wolf fossils are rare outside the Americas, indicating they struggled in regions with established predators like cave hyenas. Dire wolves, these large and fierce predators, roamed the earth alongside humans for many millennia. They thrived in a range of different climates, from icy tundras to warmer forests. However, about 9,500 years ago, these mighty creatures vanished from the planet. Their disappearance is mainly tied to the dramatic Quaternary extinction event, a time when many large animals they hunted, like giant bison and mammoths, also died out. Without these big animals to eat, dire wolves struggled to find enough food. Adding to their challenges, dire wolves faced stiff competition from other predators, including smaller, more agile species like the gray wolves. These gray wolves were better at adapting to changing environments and scarce food supplies. They could survive on smaller prey and were more versatile in their hunting habits, making it tough for the larger dire wolves to compete. Over time, as their main food sources became extinct and with relentless competition from these other predators, the dire wolves could no longer survive and eventually became extinct themselves. This marked the end of their long reign as formidable hunters of the ancient world. Our knowledge of dire wolves comes from their fossils, providing insights into their lives and the challenges they faced, helping scientists understand past ecosystems and species adaptations. Were you aware that the dire wolf wasn't actually a true wolf? For more fascinating insights, don't forget to like and subscribe.